ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणीं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि श्री गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। रामं रामानुजं सीतां भरतं भरतनुजं सुग्रीवं वायुसूनुश्च प्रणमामि पुनः पुनः। लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये। उद्भवस्थितिसंहारकारिणीं क्लेशहारिणीं सर्वश्रेयस्करीं सीतां नतोऽहं रामवल्लभाम्। जनकसुता जगजननी जानकी अतिशय प्रिय करुणा निधान की। ताके जुगपद कमल मनावहु जासु कृपा निर्मल मति पावहु। सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी करूं प्रणाम जोरी जुगपानी। मनोजवं मारुतुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीगुरुचरण सरोज रज निजमन मुकुर सुधार। वर्णौ रघुवर विमल जश जोदायक फलचार। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहे हरौ कलेश विकार। सियावर राम जय जय राम मेरे प्रभु राम जय जय राम। श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। हरे कृष्णा, जय श्री राम। So thank you for coming here.
Is this the last session?
No.
Because on the website it says still 29, so that's why I wasn't very sure.
Not sure.
First to 29.
I don't think we declared any date for the last date.
Okay.
I'm thinking we'll do at least one more session because we'll finish Balakand at least. So today I think most people are joining virtually. A lot of festivities are going on. Last weekend, continuously 4-5 days we had a lot of festivals. So more people will be decided to plan virtually, stay home today. So hopefully more people will be coming in person also. So in the last session we talked about Lord Ramachandra's appearance. Lord Ramachandra appeared from the heart of Kaushalya Mata in her palace, he appeared in four-handed Vishnu form, and on the request of Mother Kaushalya, Lord transformed into a small baby. So in the whole Ayodhya, the celebration is going on, the festivities are going on. And then the next ceremony which happens is Lord Ramachandra's Rajyabhishek. Not Rajyabhishek, naming ceremony. I am still in Rajyabhishek mood. On Diwali day we celebrated Lord Ram's Rajyabhishek. But in our Katha, we are moving on to the next pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, the naming ceremony. The importance of naming ceremony, Nama Samskar. And we talked about Lord Ramachandra's Leela, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. Actually, they are to teach us the life lessons. They are to teach us the various samskaras. Because we sometimes think that I am becoming a devotee. But really, to become a devotee, first we need to become a human. And we need to come at the level of human. And being a human means having those samskaras in the life. These days we see people have no culture, basically, no samskaras are being followed. A child is born. Before the child is born, parents, they decide the naming ceremony, or they already decide the name of the child. If the boy will be born, then we'll give this name. If the girl will be born, then we'll decide we will give this name. So they have already decided the name months and months in advance. Actually, the naming ceremony, the name is given based on the time, place, the nakshatra. According to that, the child's name is decided. These days, people give the name to the child which has no meaning. Everybody want to give very new fancy name to their children, or short names. It should be easy to say. किसी का नाम रख दिया टिंकू, पिंकू, बंटी, बबलू, शबलू. All these names, what is the real meaning of these names actually? There is no meaning. And the name of the child is actually based on the qualities of the child. These days people will give the name. Somebody may have the name Nayanasukh. The person may be blind, but the name is Nayanasukh. Somebody's name may be Bahadur Singh. He is such a coward person, but name is Bahadur Singh. Somebody's name may be Lakshminath, Lakshmipati. He may be very poor person, but the name is Lakshminath. So the name does not match with the quality of the person. In the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I have appeared in this world to fill the world with the love of the Lord. Nama sarthak kari jadi prema vishwa bhari. My name will be successful. My name's meaning will be fulfilled if I drown the whole world with love of Lord. So the name of the child, name of the person is as per the qualities of the person. So here, Lord is given some name. Who gives name to the Lord? Who can give the name to the Lord? The Lord's name come as per the pastimes of the Lord. When Lord performs some leela, so the devotee give that name to the Lord. Lord stole butter. His name became Makhanchor. He lifted Govardhan on his pinky finger. His name became Giridhari. He danced with the gopis. His name became Rasikaraj. So the devotee give the name to the Lord based on the leelas which Lord performed. But is there a name of the Lord before Lord's appearance? What is the name of the Lord before Lord appears? How do we address the Lord? How do people generally address the Lord? Bhagavan, okay, that is one thing, Bhagavan. Narayan, okay, that is also name, right? That is also for some reason, Narayan, because he rests on the water. That's from where his name came, Narayan. Paramatma, Ishwar. So yes, all these names are there, but the one very original name of the Lord, how people address is Paramasatya, absolute truth. His name is Paramasatya. When the demigods come to pray the Lord, do Garbha Stuti of the Lord, how do they pray? What do they say? Satyavratam Satyaparamam Satyam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye. You are the absolute truth. Satyavratam. You are the fulfiller of your truthfulness. Satya paramam. Trisatyam satyasya yoni. So you are the absolute truth. There is nothing beyond you. So Lord is known as Param Satya. And he is also known as very sweet. Madhuram Madurebhyo api. He is most sweet. He is the sweet personification. So he is true. He is truth, Param, absolute truth. And he is nectarian. He is so sweet. What does it mean is, in reality, truth is very sweet. Isn't it? But in general, what do we say in this world? Satya bahut kadwa hota hai. Isn't that people say Satya bahut kadwa hota hai? But in general, if we see Lord is Param Satya and he is sweet, then why do we say truth is bitter? Right? Why do people say truth is bitter? In reality, truth is always sweet. But there is some reason because of that, the truth appears to be bitter. Once one person, he came to the ashram of some sadhu and some well-known person of that sadhu, and he gave him a very nice milk, right? Desi gai ka doodh, nicely boiled with some almonds and pistachios and cardamom and everything, all those nice things. He nicely boiled and gave that milk to him in a silver bowl, silver glass. So this person drank the milk, one sip of the milk, and he said, "Oh, this milk is so bitter. This milk tastes very bad." The sadhu said, "This is from our own cow, and it's nicely boiled with all these nice ingredients inside that, nice sugar put inside that. How can that be bitter? Maybe something wrong with the glass. Maybe the glass was not washed something, or that soap was still there in the glass. Because of that, the milk got contaminated. So don't worry, we'll give you another glass. We'll serve you in a different glass." So एक और glass में, एक दूसरे glass में उनको milk दिया, दूध दिया पीने के लिए. Again he took one sip. Again he said, "Still it's so bad. It tastes so bad, tastes so bitter." And the sadhu was surprised. How is that bad? It's such a nice milk, and now glass is also washed nicely. So let me try. Let me drink one sip and let me see. So he drank the milk himself. "Arey Baba, this is so nice milk. Itna to acha hai, itna swad hai. Why you think it's so bad? So open your mouth. Maybe something wrong in your mouth." That person opened the mouth, and inside the mouth, under his tongue, he was having that jarda supari and all that putting in his mouth. And the sadhu said, "See, problem is not in the milk. Problem is inside your mouth. You are keeping all that wrong stuff in your mouth. That's why this milk tastes bitter to you. पहले अपने मुंह से ये सब जो जर्दा सुपारी डाल के रखा उसको फेंक करो. First throw this out and then this milk will taste sweet to you." So problem was not in the milk, problem was in the mouth. Same way, truth is always sweet. Why we feel the truth to be bitter? Because we are filled with that, what do you call, selfishness. हम कानों के अंदर स्वार्थ रख के उसको सुन रहे हैं, इसलिए वो जो सच है वो कड़वा प्रतीत हो रहा है. That's why that truth is appearing to be bitter. So Lord is absolute truth. And Lord, what we say, He is Satchit Anand. Right? He is full of eternity, bliss and knowledge. He is full of bliss, full of joy. No matter Madhuram Madurebhyo api. Right? He is sweet personification. Again, one more story, very nice actually, very instructive story. There once one sadhu was passing by, and from inside the house, two childs were kind of arguing with each other. They were talking to each other. They were saying, "I want to eat this elephant. I want to eat this cow. I want to eat this camel. I want to eat this horse." And the sadhu passing by outside, he was hearing these talks coming out. He was surprised. What kind of child are these? What kind of children are these? They were talking about eating elephant and horse and camel. I have to see these children. What kind of children are these? So he knocked on the door. The mother opened the door The sadhu said, I heard these voices coming from your house. The children were arguing, I want to eat this animal and that animal. And mother said, Ram Ram Baba, we are pure vegetarian people. We don't eat onion, garlic also. What to speak of these animals? Sadhu said, but I heard. They were speaking like this. Mother said, oh, you got little wrong, contextually wrong. They were talking about eating these sugar candies. Yesterday we had Diwali Puja. And in Diwali Puja, we had those shapes made out of sugar. Right? Sometimes we do that puja. In that, they have the khand kherne. Sometimes people say, right? These are made of different shapes. So they are talking about eating those sweet shapes. Those shapes are in the shape of an elephant, in the shape of a horse. So they were talking about eating that. Now, that sugar items made of these sugar, pure sugar, no matter you eat bite at the front or bite at the back, it's sweet. The same way the Supreme Lord, actually He is completely sweet. Madhuram madhurebhyo api. So the name of the Lord originally is Paramasatya, but the devotees also give some name to the Lord. So here Valmiki ji say, on the 11th day, when 11 days passed, Vashisht ji did the naming ceremony for all the 4 children. Atitya ekadasham tu nam karma tatha karot. Jyeshtam Ramam Mahatmanam Bharatam Kekai Sutam Somitri Lakshmanaitim Shatrughanam Paramam Tatha Vashishtah Param Prito Namani Kurute Tada. So Vashisht did the naming ceremony after 11 days. So again, naming ceremony is done after the birth, after a certain time, when that's a right occasion, right muhurat. And what is the name given to the eldest child? Jyeshtham Ramam Mahatmanam. So Vashisht gave the name to the elder son, Ram Mahatma. See, Ramji's full name, it's not just Ram. Ramji's full name is written here, Ram Mahatma. So what is Ramji's surname? So Ramji's surname in that sense is Mahatma. If we have some surname, sometimes we think, oh, somebody Kshatriya, right? Born in a Kshatriya family. What is the surname generally? They will have Thakur, Chaudhary, Singh. So in that way, Lord Ramchandra's name should be Ram Chaudhary, Ram Thakur, Ram Yadav or something. But here, Ramji's name is described as Ram Mahatma, Bharat Mahatma, Lakshman Mahatma, Shatrughan Mahatma. These are the name given to them. So Vashisht gave the name and he is telling the quality of Lord Ramachandra. What are the qualities? Sarva Veda Vidah Shurah Sarve Loka Hiteratah Sarve Jnanu Sampanna Sarve Samuditah Gune Teshamapi Mahateja Rama Satyah Prakramah Ishta Sarvasya Lokasya Shashankah Eva Nirmalah. So Vashisht is writing very nicely the qualities of Lord Ramachandra based on what his name is described. Sarve Veda Vidah Shurah. He is the knower of all the Vedas. He is the most powerful. Sarve Loka Hite Rata. He will be always engaged in the welfare of all the citizens. Sarve Jnanum Sampanna. Sarve Samudita Gune. He is filled with all the nice qualities. Tesham api Mahateja. Ram Satyah Prakarma. So what is Ram's strength? Ram's strength is not being Swaprakarma, showing the strength of his arms. Ram's power, Ram's strength is Satya Prakarma. He is the fulfiller of his words. He is the upholder of his virtue, his dharma, his words. Raghukula Reet Sada Chaliyai, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai. So Lord Ramachandra is upholding that Riti, that dharma. So his strength is not Swaprakarma but Satya Prakarma. So Lord Ramachandra, he went to forest, right? We know in the Ayodhya Kand, this whole pastime will come if we happen to go up to that pastime in this series. But so we know Lord Ramachandra went to forest. For what purpose did he go to forest? Did he go for his father, for his mother, for the citizens of Ayodhya? Why did Lord Ramachandra go to forest? Not even to fulfill the order of his father. His father, Dashrath Maharaj, actually told Ram, you forcefully take up this kingdom. You don't have to fulfill these words. You don't have to fulfill this promise. You can take up the kingdom forcibly. You don't go to forest. Dashrath Maharaj told him, you don't go to forest. So why did Lord Ramachandra go to forest? Not to fulfill the order of his father, but to fulfill the dharma of his father. Lord Ramachandra is telling Dashrath Maharaj, you are stopping me to go to forest. Actually, that is your attachment. जो ये आपके मोह की आज्ञा है जो आप मुझे बोल रहे हो कि वन में मत जाओ, पर आपके धर्म की आज्ञा है कि मैं वन में जाऊं. This is the order of your dharma that I should go to the forest. So just to fulfill the words of Dashrath Maharaj, the promise of Dashrath Maharaj, Lord Ramachandra went to forest. So he is Satya Prakarama. Ishta Sarvasya Lokasya. He will be the Ishta, the worshipable of all the three worlds. So that is the qualities of Lord Ramachandra described here. So the naming ceremony of Lord Ramachandra is done. He is given the name Ram Mahatma. Now in the scripture it defined what is the real meaning of Ram. Right? We say name Ram. It's so easy to say Ram. What is the real meaning of this name Ram? How many letters are there in Ram? 3. Right? Sometimes people think there are 2 letters. So Ra and Ma. Actually there are 3 letters in Ram. Ra, A and Ma. So Bandau Nama Rama Raghuvar ko Hetu Krishanu Bhanu Himakar ko. So the name of Lord Ramachandra, there are 3 letters. They signify these 3 Bij mantra. The Bij mantra for Hetu Krishanu Bhanu Himakar ko. So these 3 letters, they are the Hetu for these 3. What are these 3? Krishanu, Bhanu, Himakar. Krishanu means Agni. So the first letter Ra, that is the Bija mantra for Agni. Krishanu. As the fire devours everything. Right? Fire can consume everything. Fire, no matter how much fuel you put into the fire, it will swallow everything. So same way the name of Lord Ramachandra, the first letter Ra, as soon as we utter the letter Ra, it acts like fire which can burn up all the anarthas from our heart. It can remove all the sinful propensities from our heart. Lord Shiva, he actually says that as soon as somebody utters the letter Ra, they have not said Ram yet. As soon as just they utter the letter Ra, even though they may be going to say some other word from letter Ra, but as soon as they utter the letter Ra, Lord Shiva says, I am filled with ecstasy, I am filled with this hope that name of Lord Ramachandra is going to be spoken. So Ra is the Bij mantra for Krishanu, Agni, which can destroy all the anarthas, all the sinful propensities from our heart. Hetu, Krishanu, Bhanu. Now the letter A, that is the Bij mantra for Surya, Bhanu. As the sun rises in the sky, all the darkness is removed. Before even the sun rises, completely comes on the horizon, as soon as the sun is going to rise, that lalima, that raddishness comes in the sky, and because of that the darkness is removed. So same way, when we utter the name Ra, A, the utterance of A, that's like the rising of sun in our heart, which remove all the ignorance from our heart. And then the third one is Ma. Ma is the Bij mantra for Himakar. Himakar means Chandrama. So Chandrama, the moon, moonlight is very soothing. It gives coolness, it gives Vishram. If the moon doesn't rise, if the sun doesn't set and moon doesn't rise, maybe people will not go for taking rest. They will keep working whole day. So when the moon comes in the sky, it gives so much of soothingness, coolingness and restfulness. So by the utterance of letter Ma, it gives peacefulness in our heart. It gives that joy, that soothingness in our heart. So the name of Lord Ramachandra, which consists of these three letters, Ra, A, Ma. This is the Bija mantra for Agni, Surya and Chandrama. Hetu Krisanu Bhanu Himakarko. So Lord Ramachandra's name is given Ram. Same way Bharatji is given the name. What is the name to the second child, the child of Kekai, given? Bharat Mahatma. So Goswami ji write, Bishab Bharan Poshan Karajoi Takar Naam Bharat Asahoi. So what is the name of Bharat? Who is going to fulfill, who is going to do the portion for the whole world, who is going to take care of the whole world? That is Bharat. And then Shatrughan, Jake Sumiran Te Ripunasha, Naam Shatrughan Vaid Prakasha. By just remembering whose name all the enemies can be destroyed. That is Shatrughan. Jake Sumiran Te Ripunasha. So these are not, we are not talking about external enemies, even the internal enemies. So if we remember Shatrughan, if we just remember the name of Shatrughan, that can remove the enemies from our heart also. And then the last child, the fourth one, the son of Sumitra Devi, Lachman Ram Dham Priya Sakal Jagat Adhar, Guru Vashishta Tehi Rakha, Lachman Naam Udar. So for that child, the name was given Lakshman. Lakshman, meaning of Lakshman. What is the meaning of Lakshman? There are two meanings. One meaning of Lakshman is who is filled with all the good Lakshan, who has all the good qualities. That is one meaning, Lakshman. Another meaning of Lakshman is whose heart, whose mind is always towards the Lakshay, towards the goal. That is Lakshman. जिसका मन हमेशा अपने लक्ष्य पर लगा रहे. So what is the goal of Lakshman ji? Goal of Lakshman ji is Lord Ramachandra. He is always in service of Lord Ramachandra. So we need to become like Lakshman ji, understanding what is the real goal of our life. Goal of our life is to attain Lord Ramachandra's mercy, attain the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. And what we need to do for that? So everybody has the tendency to love somebody, right? We want to love somebody. Generally people love their spouse, their children, their home, their cars, their cats and dogs. But do they really find that real love? We don't find that ultimate object of our love. The ultimate object of our love is the Supreme Lord. So we need to learn from Lakshman ji how to engage in the service of the Lord. How to have always our heart, our mind be attracted towards the Lord. हमारा मन लक्ष्य की तरफ लगा रहे. And how to develop that love? Again and again we repeat that point by hearing. More and more we hear about the Lord, our attraction towards the Lord develops. And ultimately by hearing that Rama Katha, Krishna Katha, the love for the Supreme Lord, the attraction towards the Supreme Lord, that awaken in our heart. So all the four children, they were given the name Ram Mahatma, Lakshman Mahatma, Bharat Mahatma, Shatrughan Mahatma. And as the children grew up, they were sent to the Gurukul, the ashram of Vashishtha ji, for getting education. Guru grah gaye padhan raghurai, alpa kal vidya sab ai. So Lord Ramachandra along with three brothers, he went to the ashram of Vashishtha ji to get education. Now, this is another very important point. Now, Lord Ramachandra, he is the Supreme Lord. He is the knower of everything. Sarva Veda Vidahrata. Right? We just now said his qualities, why his name, what is the significance of his name. He knows everything, all the Vedas. But why Lord Ram has to go to get education? In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Vedaham samatitani vartamani cha Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mamatu vedana kaschana. I know the past, present and future. I know everything about everybody. But everybody together, they do not know me alone. So Lord is the knower of everything. But still, Lord is going to the ashram, to the Gurukul to get education. Why is that? Because Lord is setting an example for us. Why does Lord appear? We discussed that. He comes to teach us, right? Teach the human being. Mrityavataram Mritya Sikshanam. So he comes in the material world to teach the human being by his own example. So Lord is going to Gurukul to get education from a Guru, just to teach us that we should accept a Guru. People think, yes, we also go to school, we also go to college, so we get education. That education is nothing actually. That education, yes, we are getting some material education to earn our livelihood. But is that education giving us the real values of life? Is that education giving us the real knowledge, the knowledge of the soul? You go to top universities, they have so many different departments. They have a different engineering departments, medical department, law department, all the economic department, everything is there. But does any university has any subject to teach about the soul? We are not this body, we are the spirit soul. And that is the real knowledge. So Lord Ramachandra is accepting a Guru. He is going to the ashram of a Guru to give us an example. Whenever Lord appears, he shows by his example. Lord Ramachandra went to the ashram of Vashishji. When Lord Krishna came, he went to the ashram of Sandipani Muni to get education. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he accepted Ishwarapuri as his Guru. So in every appearance, Lord accepts a Guru. And by his example, he is telling, by accepting a human form of life, it's utmost responsibility to accept a Guru. Without Guru, this human form of life is waste. Like this material world is like a big ocean, and human form of life is like a boat to cross over that ocean. But the boat by itself cannot cross beyond the ocean. It will be going with the waves here and there. It will never reach on the other side. But if there is an expert captain on that boat, he can direct that boat in the right direction. So this boat is, this human form of life is the boat. And the spiritual master, the Guru, he is that expert captain who can give direction to this boat to go across this ocean to reach on the other side. So Lord teaches by his own example. And in Gurukul, in the earlier system also, right, up to even 100, 200 years back, we know there was a system of Gurukul. In Gurukul, the Guru gives education based on scriptures. All sort of knowledge is given. There is knowledge of Arth Shastra. There is knowledge of even all the medical science also. Ayurveda, Shastra Vidya, all the political knowledge, the politics, all these knowledge is given based on scriptures. So it gives the all-round knowledge. But in today's knowledge system, in the modern knowledge system, what is missing? Yes, there is jnana there, right? Some theoretical knowledge is there, but it does not give the real values of life. Real knowledge means 5 things have to be there. You know what are these 5 things? The real education means to acquire these 5 things. First is jnana. Second one is vinay. Third one, nipunata. Fourth, gun. And fifth is sheel. So jnana, vinay, nipunata, gun, sheel. If these 5 things are there, That is the real purpose of education. Today, yes, we have some theoretical knowledge, and that knowledge is on one particular subject matter. Right? Somebody may be doing an engineering degree, somebody may be doing a medical degree, somebody is doing a law degree or economic degree. So their whole focus is in one particular field. And are they becoming expert also of that field? Not really. We know sometimes recession comes, people lose their job, and after that they are not able to do anything. They are not able to do anything else because their whole focus is just on that. They are just given that particular education, that particular knowledge. So it gives theoretical knowledge, but it does not give nipunata. Earlier, they will have all around knowledge. If they are not able to do one type of work, they will do another type of work. Right? So knowledge is not just to earn our livelihood. But today, in the modern education system, that is the only purpose. Isn't it? Ask somebody, why you want to... Yes,
Yeah, sorry, do I need to take 5 minutes of presentation?
yes, please. So, ask anybody, why are you going to college, to university? To get education, to earn a degree. Why you want to get a degree? So I can get a good job, or I can get into a good business. Why you want to get into a job or business? So I can earn a lot of money. Why you want to earn money? So I can buy all this fancy stuff, the nice phones and cars and laptop and house and everything. And why you want to earn all that or buy all this stuff? So that I can feel happiness. But after buying all this stuff also ask somebody, are you really happy? Not really. So what is the purpose of all that? Today's education system just teaches how to earn livelihood. So it gives gyan, but it does not give nipunata. So the real education system is, it gives knowledge, gyan, it gives nipunata, it gives vinay. Vinay means it makes the person humble, it teaches the humility also. These days, do we really think modern education system make people humble? In Sanskrit there are two words, samvad and vivad. Right? Earlier the education system is samvad. The disciple is sitting in front of the guru and they have samvad. Samvad means very humbly he inquire from the teacher. They have a nice dialogue, nice exchange. You know, Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami, they had samvad. Viduraji and Maitreya, they had samvad. Narad Muni, Yudhishthiraji, they have samvad. But these days what happen is vivad. Right? Everybody is arguing. There are debates, competition to argue with each other. Everybody want to put forth his point. They don't want to listen to other person, what the other person is trying to tell. They want to prove their point. There are debate sessions. Right? Debate is what? Argument. I teach how to argue with each other, how to prove your point. So where is humility? Where is vinay? So real education means to get that humility. Vidya vinaya sampanne. Vidya, real Vidya gives vinaya, humility. Then the fourth one is guna. So it helps to acquire all the good qualities. Helping others, working for the welfare of others. Not filling others with selfish mentality. Me first, me. Right? People are becoming self-centered these days. But real education gives the good qualities. Guna. And then Sheela. Sheela means character. It says if somebody doesn't have anything else, if somebody does not have the degrees also, but if he has a good character, then he is worshipable. These days, people don't look at the character. They look at all the external things. He has a nice degree on his wall. He has a nice certificate hanging. He is wearing nice suit, coat, pant. People say, oh, you are looking gentleman. So gentleman is by external things. But if no character, then no value. These days, student, right? They live in dorms, they go to college, living in hostels. The boys are running behind girls and girls are running behind boys. So where is character? So the real education, it helps to build the right character. How to become famous in this world? Actually, if you ask somebody how to become famous in this world, we say there are two different things. One is, if we can have so either somebody have pratima or somebody has pratibha. Right? Two different words again, pratima or pratibha. To make somebody's pratima, what is needed? If somebody becomes famous in this world, he's a politician or some movie star or something. Sometimes people may make their idol and put it on the cross street, right? उनका बड़ा पुतला बना के लगा देते हैं. So that is making somebody's pratima. To make pratima, it can be made with gold, with silver, with iron, with stone, with sand. So pratima can be made in all these forms. But if somebody really want to become pratibhavan, if somebody really want to be glorious in the world, what is needed? Then it requires sheel and guna, right? Vinay, guna, sheel. So that is the real education system. So Lord Ramachandra himself went to the ashram of Vashishji to get education, to set an example for all of us. That importance of accepting a guru. Not just this material education, but getting the real education, the real values of life. I know, I'm pretty sure every parent, they want to give the right value to their children. Right? There are some devotees sitting here. You can vouch that. You want to give right values to your children, right? But are you confident this modern education system, it gives that right values to the children? At least at our time, when we were in school, we were given some values at that time also. Even 20-30 years back, we had that education in our schooling system also. These days, there are no values taught. People are becoming more and more self-centered. First of all the things which we are using in this world now, they also promote self-centeredness. iPhone, and what not all starts with I and I. So coming back to our point here, the role of spirituality in education system. That's what we were talking about here with the example of Lord Ramachandra, how he went to take education. So Lord Ramachandra, he very quickly acquired all that knowledge. So he came back to his palace, all the four brothers, they came back. And now their activities are described. What kind of activities they are doing on a daily basis. It says, Dhanurvede cha nirataha pitru shashrushane rataha balyat prabhavati sussunigdho lakshmano lakshmi vardhanaha ramasya loka ramasya bhratru jeshta nityashah sarva priyakarastasya ramasayapi sharirataha lakshmano lakshmi sampanno bahi prana ivaparaha nacha tena vina nidram labate purushottamaha mrishtam annam upanitam ashnati nahitam vinah. So it describes the daily activities of Lord Ramachandra and all the four brothers. So what are they doing? Dhanurvede cha nirataha. Every day they practice Dhanurvidya. So Lord Ramachandra and all the three other brothers, they practice shooting arrows with their bows. And they are always there to serve their father. Pitru shashushne rataha. From the very childhood, Lakshman's attraction is toward Lord Ramachandra. Ramasya lok ramasya bratru jeshta nityashah. So Lakshmanji is very eager to always serve Lord Ramachandra. He is always walking behind Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra is going anywhere, he is riding on the horse, Lakshmanji is walking behind. Lakshmanji is like the external life air of Lord Ramachandra. In same way, Shatrughanji's attraction is toward Bharatji. So Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughan, these are the pairs well known. And Ramji also have so much love and affection for Lakshmanji. Whenever Ram is given something to eat, he cannot eat anything without sharing with Lakshmanji. And without Lakshmanji, Ramji cannot go to sleep. Nacha tena bina nidram labate purushottamaha mrishtam annam upanitam ashnati nahitam bina. Neither Lord Ramachandra eats without Lakshmanji, neither he go to sleep without Lakshmanji. Lakshmanji massages the feet of Lord Ramachandra. Whenever he goes to take rest, Lakshmanji is there to massage his feet. And when Ramachandra ji gets up in the morning, what is his first activity? So the same activity which Valmiki ji is writing here, that Lord Ramachandra, he is throughout the day, he is eager to serve his father. He is eager to serve his citizen. Goswami ji write in one sentence that thing. Pratakal utke Raghunatha Mat pita guru navahimatha Ayusha mangi karhi pur kaja Dekhi charit harshahi man raja. As soon as Lord Ramachandra gets up in the morning, what does he do? Pratakal utke Raghunatha Mat pita guru navahimatha. He first pays obeisances to his father, his mother, his guru. So first Lord Ramachandra pays obeisances to all these elders. He takes their blessings. Then he goes in the city to do all the activities of the city, to take care of the various tasks of the citizens. So Ramji is always in Maryada. What is Maryada of Lord Ramachandra? Right, it's described here. He is always paying obeisances to everybody. These days, are we really eager to pay obeisances to our elders? People show obeisances or pay obeisances also in different ways. And how we greet others, our greetings are in many different ways. Some people greet others by waving hand, dur se haath hila ke. Some people go and shake hand. Some people just fold hand. And then some people bow down and touch the feet. So people use different method to greet others. And Lord Ramachandra is paying obeisances to his father. So there is a difference in Abhinandan and Abhivadan. See, again, I am mentioning many different pairs of words here. Abhinandan and Abhivadan. What is the difference? Our Sanskrit language is very wonderful actually. So many nice, just by understanding these words we can understand the Sanskriti. Abhinandan, Abhivadan. Abhivadan means you are receiving somebody, you are greeting somebody just verbally. Vada means verbally. Abhivadan. Abhinandan. Abhinandan is from the heart. You are bowing down and paying obeisances and receiving somebody. That is Abhinandan. So these days, do we really follow the system of Abhinandan? Do we pay obeisances once in a year, maybe once in a while, on some special occasion? People may touch the feet of their elders, their parents, and coming in devotee community, coming in this devotional culture also, are we really adapting to that culture to pay obeisances to others? Right? We speak verbally, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. What is that Dandavat? That is also, we are saying only verbally. That is Abhivadan, not Abhinandan. Right? We are verbally saying Dandavat Pranam. But what is the meaning of Dandavat Pranam? Dandavat, Danda means a rod. So falling like a rod flat on the ground and then paying obeisances. That is Dandavat Pranam. So that Dandavat Pranam also we have made into Abhivadan, not Abhinandan. Verbally just we say. And many times people think, oh, should I really pay obeisances to this person? Is he really elder than me? Is he really superior than me? See, elder or superior is not just by age. Somebody can be considered elder or superior in many different ways. Somebody can be superior to us, he can be Jnana Vriddha. He can be Bhakti Vriddha. He can be Bhakti Vriddha. He can be Jnana Vriddha. He can be Bhakti 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 Vriddha. He can be From the viewpoint of knowledge, he is superior to us. Somebody is Vayovriddha, yes, from the age point of view, he is superior to us, he is elderly. Somebody may be superior because of position, somebody may be superior because of Varna. Right? We are Grahasthas and somebody Brahmachari or Sannyasi, they come in front of us, they are maybe younger than us in age, but they are superior to us from Varna point of view. So people can be superior to us in many different ways, not just by age. We should not just think because of age. Yes, that is one category, Vayo Vriddha. But somebody could be Jnana Vriddha, Varna Vriddha. So Ramji, he does not hesitate to pay obeisances to anybody. He is paying obeisances. Lord Ramachandra had paid more obeisances than he had let somebody else pay obeisances to him. In the whole pastime, in whole Ramayana, you can really identify how many people really Lord Ram let them get to his feet. Before they try to get to the feet of Lord Ramachandra holds them and embraces them. But he pays obeisances to everybody. See, very few people were actually able to reach the feet of Lord Ramachandra. One is Lakshmanji. Yes, Lakshmanji is always massaging the feet of Lord Ramachandra. Another is Kevat. He was able to reach to the feet. He washed the feet of Lord Ramachandra. Even Sugriv wanted to touch, but Lord Ramachandra held him, embraced him. Bharatji came. Before he fell at the feet of Lord Ramachandra held and embraced him also in Chitrakoot. So very few were able to reach the feet. Lord Ramachandra is just giving respect to everybody. He is in Maryada. He is Maryada Purushottam. So we should learn the culture of paying obeisances, showing respect to others. So as the time is passing by, one day in the forest there is another wonderful sage named Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra ji, he is a great jnani, he is a tapasvi. He is doing many yagyas. Whenever he tried to perform a yagya, the Rakshasas, they come and they destroy the yagya of Vishwamitra ji. So Vishwamitra ji ek tarah se haar chuke hain. He is defeated by these asuras. He is not able to complete his yagya. In one sense, Vishwamitra ji has been defeated. हार चुके हैं, पर विश्वामित्र जी ने फिर भी हार नहीं मानी. विश्वामित्र जी is thinking, if somehow I connect myself to the Lord, myself to the Supreme Lord, then my defeat will be turned into victory. मेरी जो ये हार है, ये जीत में बदल जाएगी. But where to find the Lord? How to find the Lord? And one night in dream, Lord Shiva spoke to Vishwamitra. You should go to Ayodhya and bring Ramachandra with you. Then your yajna will be successful. And Vishwamitra ji, when he got this instruction from Lord Shiva, he walked all the way to Ayodhya. Vishwamitra ji is living in a forest. Buxar, in current day Bihar, that is where Vishwamitra's ashram was, Siddhashram. From there, Vishwamitra alone, all the way on foot, he walked to Ayodhya. Why? To get Lord Ramachandra. Vishwamitra ji is thinking, if I receive Ramachandra, if I get Ramachandra, then I will become Sanath. In Anath and Sanath. Anath. Who is Anath? Whom do we consider Anath? Orphan. Hey, who is an orphan? Somebody who doesn't have anybody in the family, right? In general sense, we say that person is orphan, who doesn't have father, mother to take care of him. Oh, he is an orphan person. In that sense, is Vishwamitra orphan? Vishwamitra has everything. He has so many disciples, thousands and thousands of disciples actually. He is the shelter for others. But here Vishwamitra says, I need to take shelter of Ram. If Ram comes to my life, then I will become Sanath. So the important point is, we may have everything in our life. We have everybody in our family, all the family members, father, mother, children, husband, wife, everybody is there. But still, unless we connect ourselves to the Lord, we are like an orphan in this world. Vishwamitra ji walked all the way to get Lord Ramachandra. And what is the history of Vishwamitra ji? He is a very great sage actually. Originally he was a king. Right? You may all know this history. Vishwamitra ji originally is a very wonderful king. One day he was coming with his whole army, and on the way there was ashram of Vashishta ji. And when this whole army, Vishwamitra with his army came there, Vashishta ji welcomed him that you are the king, you are our protector. So please give me the opportunity to serve you. And Vashishta ji, he said, I will make arrangement for the whole army to take prasadam, take meal. Vishwamitra ji thought, you are simple sage, you are simple ashram, we are so many in number. How can you make arrangement for all of us? And Vishwamitra ji, so he was doubting on the capacity of Vashishta ji. Vashishta ji had a very powerful cow, very wonderful cow, Kamadhenu Gai. And Vashishta ji said, this cow can fulfill all desire, it can provide everything. So Vashishta ji, with the help of that Kamadhenu cow, he prepared the meal for all thousands and thousands of people. And Vishwamitra was surprised. He thought, I am the king and I should own all the wonderful things. This cow should be in my possession. So he told Vashishta ji, give this cow to me. Vashishta ji said, I cannot give this cow to you. ये गाय नहीं है, ये गैया नहीं है, ये मेरी मैया है. You are asking for my Maiya. How can I give my mother to you? I cannot give this mother. And Vishwamitra tried to take that cow forcibly. And Vashishta ji, with his Brahmadand, with his strength of his Vishwamitra, Vashishta ji is known as Brahma Rishi. So with that Brahmadand, he defeated the whole army of Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra started thinking, what is the use of all this power, all this being Kshatriya? Even got defeated by a Brahmana. So I want to become a powerful sage. So Vishwamitra gave up everything, all his king and all the opulences, and he started doing austerities to become a powerful sage. Vishwamitra also got many powers, many siddhis. And when he is gaining all these siddhis, there were many obstacles also. His austerities were tried to be spoiled. Indra sent Menaka once to disturb the austerity of Vishwamitra ji. So all that story cut short. So Vishwamitra gained many power. He was given the title Raja Rishi. But Vishwamitra wanted the title of Brahma Rishi. That I want to become equal to Vashishta ji. I want to also gain that title. So Brahma ji appeared and Brahma ji said, we cannot give you the title Brahma Rishi. If Vashishta ji tells that I accept Vishwamitra as Brahma Rishi, then we will accept. Now Vishwamitra said, I have problem with the Vashishta, that's why I want to gain that title, gain that designation. Why will he tell? One day Vishwamitra thought, Vashishta ji is the obstacle on my path. Let me destroy Vashishta. Let me kill Vashishta. So with a sword in his hand, he was walking towards the ashram of Vashishta ji. And at the night time, Vashishta ji was sitting with his wife Arundhati that time. Night time, there was a full moon. In that full moon, the rays of moon, Vashishta was sitting with his wife and she was talking. See how beautiful this moon is looking like. His rays are spread everywhere. And Vashishta ji said, yes, the moon's rays are spread everywhere, like Vishwamitra's power of austerities is spread everywhere these days. Vishwamitra heard that I am considering Vashishta as my enemy, that he is the obstacle on my path. And here is Vashishta, who is sitting in a lonely place alone with his wife, and he is talking about my glories. He is speaking about my glorification. So Vishwamitra came and fell at the feet of Vashishta ji. Vashishta ji saw Vishwamitra falling in front of him and he immediately picked him up. Brahma Rishi, you should not fall in front of anybody. You should not pay obeisances like this. And immediately all the devatas appeared there, Brahmaji and Indra and all the devatas. Today, Vashishji declared you Brahma Rishi, so we accept you as Brahma Rishi. So this is how Vishwamitra got that title of Brahma Rishi. He was such a powerful sage. He got so many siddhis, and now he is doing many yagyas to gain more and more powers. And why he is gaining all these powers? All these newer weapons, these things for the welfare of people. So Vishwamitra thought, I have to go to Ayodhya to bring Ramachandra, who can protect this yajna, and I will become Sanath. I will be sheltered. And Vishwamitra came to Ayodhya. At the bank of Saryu, he took bath and reached on the outside of Dashrath Maharaj's palace. Dashrath Maharaj at that time, inside his assembly, he was sitting with all the ministers. Rishi Vashisht and all other sages were sitting there. And Dashrath Maharaj is talking that all the 4 sons, they are growing up. And now I have to consider their marriage. So they are merely just the age of 16. Ramji abhi 16 varsh ke hue. And Dashrath Maharaj is thinking, now I should plan for their marriage. And at that time, Vishwamitra ji arrived there on the outside. And he sent a message inside through the security guards, through those doorkeepers. Please tell Dashrath Maharaj that Vishwamitra ji has arrived outside. The guards went inside and gave the news. Dashrath Maharaj, when he heard the news that Vishwamitra has arrived, immediately Dashrath Maharaj had mixed emotions. He was feeling happy also, and he was feeling afraid also. He was having little fear also. Why this mixed emotion? So he was feeling happy that such a great sage has come to my door. He himself has arrived here. But why was he feeling that little fear? That whenever Vishwamitra ji came to Ayodhya, first of all, he came to Ayodhya whenever there was a Chandra in Ayodhya. जब यहाँ पर कोई चंद्र हुए, तब विश्वामित्र जी आए और उनके जीवन में कितनी समस्या आई. पहले हरिश्चंद्र हुए. At that time Vishwamitra came, and Harishchandra had to face so many problems. He has to give up his kingdom. He has to sell his own wife and son also. So many problems came, and now there is Ramachandra, and again Vishwamitra has come. Now what is the new problem going to come? So Dashrath Maharaj is having that little fear also, but he is happy that such a great sage has come. He is Atithi. He has arrived as a guest. You want to know what is the real meaning of guest? Real meaning of Atithi. Again, in Sanskrit there are 2 words, Atithi and Abhyagat. See, sometimes we think Atithi means, we have some our relative, somebody came to our house, we consider they are Atithi, they are guest. Right? Those are really not the guest. Guest, Atithi means somebody who comes without any notice. Atithi, without telling, without calling, without giving any news, somebody arrives at our door, and on top of that somebody you are not capable to invite them, but by their own mercy they arrive at your doorstep. That is really Atithi. Now just consider, can we consider all our relatives, friends as really Atithi? First of all, they will call 1 week, 1 month advance, I am coming this day or that day, make arrangement. Right? I am going to stay there for 4 days, 5 days. So we tell in advance. It's not really Atithi, that is called Abhyagat. जो सूचना देकर आए. Atithi is somebody who comes without notification, and we don't have capability to invite them also. So we say Atithi Devo Bhava. The people have completely distorted the meaning of this phrase, Atithi Devo Bhava. They think, our guest has come at the house, our relative, our friend has come at our doorstep. They are to be treated like Devata. Atithi Devo Bhava. The real meaning is Atithi Devo Bhava. वास्तव में जो देवता है वही अतिथि हो सकता है. We don't have the capacity to invite them. We don't have a capacity to invite the Lord at our home in our yajna. But by his own mercy he comes. The Brahmanas, the great sages, we don't have capacity to invite them out of their mercy. If they come to our home, they are really Atithi. For them it is said Atithi Devo Bhava. So these days we don't show respect to actually the Devi Devatas, the Lord himself. We don't give respect to the Brahmanas. We kind of disrespect them. And we show respect to all our other relatives and friends. They are Atithi, they are guests. Generally what happens in marriage ceremonies or some other functions at home, right? We send invitation to all these various guests, various relatives. We think अगर चाची नहीं आई, अगर मामी नहीं आई, अगर बुआ नहीं आई, अगर वो बुरा मान गए तो क्या होगा? So we give them nice invitations. And they are also coming thinking मुझे थोड़ा शगुन मिलेगा, 500 रुपया, 1000 रुपया मिलेगा, 2 मिठाई के डब्बे मिलेंगे. That's why they are coming. Are they really guests? And we are going around them trying to make sure they are not unhappy for some reasons. But that Brahmana who is doing that yajna in that marriage ceremony, who is doing that yajna in any other occasions, we disrespect that person. We don't give any value to that person. People argue, why we have to give 1000 rupees to you? Why we have to give 2100 rupees to you? दो चार मंत्री तो पढ़ने हैं. What is so big about this? We argue, people debate, argue so much like that. So we don't show respect to the Brahmanas, and that Brahmana who is reciting the mantra, who is inviting those devatas to come appear there and accept your offerings, we don't give respect to neither the Brahman nor to that Yajna Purusha. They are the real Atithi. And we are going around taking care of other guests. These days in marriage ceremony, it's extreme actually, what kind of things people do. All the nonsense things happen. First of all, there is no respect for the yajna. In marriage ceremony, what happens? Everybody is khapi ke baithe hain. They are drunk also. They are not in a clean condition. They are sitting there. Then the bride and groom, they are sitting there. Are they really in a situation to be in that yajna? And then if somebody guest comes, some VIP person come, even the bride or groom, they may get up from that yajna and go to meet them. Take photo with them. Oh, that VIP person has come. Oh, that film star has come. Let me take photo. Let me take selfie with that person. जो 2 फेरे में ही उठ के चला गया, वो पूरी जिंदगी भर क्या साथ निभाएगा? So this principle of Atithi, this is very important principle to understand. Somebody who comes uninvited and we do not have the ability to invite that person, out of his own compassion, mercy, he has agreed to come to our house. That is Atithi. So the Brahmanas, the saintly people, they are the real Atithi. Vishwamitra ji has arrived there as Atithi. And Dashrath Maharaj is happy to receive his guest. So Vishwamitra ji brought Dashrath Maharaj brought Vishwamitra inside, served him nicely, washed his feet, gave him a nice seat to sit, and then asked Vishwamitra, please tell me, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? And Vishwamitra, what does Vishwamitra say? I have come here for a very important task. Asura Samaj, Asura Samuha Satavan Mohi, Main Jachan Ayo Nripatohi. The Asuras, the demons, they are troubling me a lot. And today I have come here to examine you. I have come here to ask for your elder son, please give me Ram to come with me to the forest to protect my yajna. As soon as Vishwamitra said, give me Ram, Dashrath Maharaj के तो जैसे पैरों के थले से जमीन खिसक गया. He became unconscious for some time. He got back his consciousness and thinking, what is Vishwamitra asking? Ram is such a young boy. He is just 16 years. अभी तो उसका 16वां birthday बनाया. He is telling Vishwamitra, please do not ask for Ram. I can send my whole army with you. I myself can come with you to protect your yajna. You need any wealth, any servants for the task of your yajna. Please take anything what you want. But don't ask Ram from me. Ram, he is not even well educated, well learned in this military arts. उसको तो अभी युद्ध कला भी नहीं आता है. एंड दीज डीमंस, दे फाइट बाय kind of Maya Shakti, right? They are skilled in this, all the tricks. How can Ram defeat them? So Dashrath Maharaj was giving all the different reasons. And then he asked, who are these demons, by the way? Who are troubling you? Vishwamitra said, these are Marich and Subahu. They are the agents of Ravana. As soon as Dashrath Maharaj heard the name Ravana, that they are the agents of Ravana who are coming and spoiling this yajna, Dashrath Maharaj said, even I cannot stand in front of Ravana. Even Dashrath Maharaj knew the whole history of Ravana. So please, I cannot help you in that. You please leave Ram. And at that time, Kekai also came there. Kekai also saw all this, what is going on, and when she came to know Vishwamitra want to take Ram, and she also started telling Vishwamitra, please do not take Ram. Please, if you want, I will come. See, I am also very skilled in military arts. Once Kekai had gone with Dashrath Maharaj, when Dashrath Maharaj was invited by Indra to fight with the Asuras. At that time, Kekai was with Dashrath Maharaj. And she has assisted Dashrath, and that's when Dashrath has given this promise that you can ask me anything. She said, I will ask these two boons later on. So she said, I am also very skilled in military arts. Please, I will come with you to protect your yajna. But don't ask Ram. So when they were all both arguing like that, Vishwamitra started getting angry. If you don't want to fulfill your words, then just say clearly. But that is not your riti. Raghukula Reet Sada Chaliyaye, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai. You said you will do anything to serve me. Now you are going against your words. Is that your culture? If you don't want to fulfill your culture, then tell me straightforward. I will go back. At that time, Vashishta ji came forward. Vashishta said, this is not going in the right direction. Let me set things right. So Vashishta ji came forward and he started telling Dashrath Maharaj, please do not worry about anything. In reality, Vishwamitra, he is capable of destroying all those asuras by himself. He is very powerful. Esha Vigravana Dharma, Esha Virya Vatambaraha, Esha Buddhyayadhiko Loke, Tapascha Parayanam, Tesham Nigrahane Shakta, Swayamcha Kushikatmajaha, Tava Putra Hitarthaya, Tavamupetyam Bhiyachate. Why he has come here? Actually, he can destroy the asuras by his own self. He is capable of destroying. But once he has taken this pledge to do this yajna, he cannot show anger. He cannot do any non-violence. So he cannot kill all those asuras by himself. That's why he is asking for Ram. Actually, he wants to give all the powers to Ram. He wants to give many different skills to Ram. That's why he is asking your son Ram. Tava putra hitarthaya. तुम्हारे पुत्र का हित करने के लिए ही वो आपसे आपके पुत्र को मांग रहे हैं. So without any fear, without any doubt, you send Ram to him, Ram with him. Actually now he is Ram. But when he will go with Vishwamitra ji, then he will become Shri Ram. So Dashrath Maharaj was pacified finally, and he called for Ram and Lakshman. Vishwamitra ji has asked only Ram, but Dashrath Maharaj now sending Ram and Lakshman both. Why? Because Dashrath Maharaj also knows that neither Ram can stay without Lakshman, nor Lakshman can stay without Ram. और वैसे भी लक्ष्मण जी कौन है? He is शेष and राम जी is अशेष. तो अशेष को शेष के बिना आराम कहां? So that's why both Ram and Lakshman will be sent with Vishwamitra. And as Ram and Lakshman came there, Vishwamitra, Dashrath Maharaj told them to pay obeisances to Vishwamitra and told that you will be going with Vishwamitra to protect their yajna, and you go take permission from your mother also. very important culture which they are teaching here. Dasharath Maharaj did not made the decision by himself that मैं पिता हूं, मेरी आज्ञा कि तुम दोनों जाओ. But he is telling, go take permission from your mother also. So Ram and Lakshman went to their mothers, took their permission, and now they are ready to go with Vishwamitra. And Dasharath Maharaj said, now consider Vishwamitra as your father and fulfill the orders of Vishwamitra, whatever he tells. And take care of yourself in the forest. And Ramji, when they are going, now Ramji is also actually telling that we are going, हम लोग जा रहे हैं 2, वापस आएंगे 4. अभी हम शादी करके ही वापस आएंगे. Because what was the event going on? Dasharath Maharaj was sitting in the assembly and was talking with all the ministers and the sages about the marriage of Ram. So Ramji is also indirectly telling, हम लोग जा रहे हैं तो 2 जा रहे हैं, 4 ही वापस लौटेंगे. So Dasharath Maharaj sent Ram and Lakshman with Vishwamitra. They are going into the forest, and as they came on the bank of Saryu, Vishwamitra took bath, Ram and Lakshman took bath there. They moved forward 1.5 yojan. They moved away from Ayodhya. At the night they took rest there, and Vishwamitra gave Bala Atibala weapons to Ram and Lakshman. He gave these powers to Ram and Lakshman. Bala Atibala. What are these weapons? What are these powers? You will think, oh, we also get these kind of powers? How to get these powers? So Bala Atibala, this power, it will not, because of that power, one will not feel hunger, one will not feel thirst, one will not feel tired or sick. No demons will be able to attack in the sleep. Because sometimes that's how a demon attack. Right? They can attack in a disguised way. So no demon will be able to attack in sleep or by using some other Maya tricks. And nobody will be more powerful than you. So that is the Bala Atibala which was given by Vishwamitra ji to Ram and Lakshman. So as they move forward, in the front they came another very dense forest. Very scary forest on the way. And Ramji asked, what is this forest? Why this forest is completely empty? Nobody is residing there. Even no animal seems to be here. So what is this forest? And Vishwamitra tells the history. Actually, this was a very wonderful city here at one point of time. And there is this demon Tadaka, demoness Tadaka, who has destroyed this city, and this whole city has become into a forest now. So she is a woman, but she is a big militant. वो सबसे बड़ी आतंकवादिनी है. And his sons also, this Marich Subahu, they are her sons who are troubling my yagyas. So first you should kill this Tadaka. She does not leave anybody. Whoever try to enter into this forest, she will attack and she will kill that person. She will eat that person. So before we can move ahead, you have to kill this Tadaka. And Lord Ramachandra is thinking, पहले ही राक्षस को मारना है, वो भी एक स्त्री. First demoness I have to kill, that's also a woman. How can I kill a woman? That's not Raghukula Reet. We do not raise weapon on a woman, on a Brahmana, on an elderly person, on a child. How can I kill a woman? And Vishwamitra ji told Ram, do not think about anything. Don't think she is a woman. Actually, she is a terrorist. And then in the history also there has been incidents when the other devatas have killed a woman. Indra actually killed the daughter of Virochana. And Lord Vishnu himself, he killed Bhrigu's wife, Shukracharya's mother, because during once the Asura Sangram, the Asuras took shelter of Bhrigu's wife. And Lord Ramachandra killed wife of Bhrigu to get those Asuras out and to kill them. So Lord Vishnu also killed a woman. Indra killed a woman. So you should not hesitate. And she is a terrorist actually. So you should not hesitate and kill this demoness. And Lord Ramachandra said, I will do whatever you say. My father ordered me that I should obey your instruction. So I will do whatever you say. So Lord Ramachandra was ready to kill Tadaka, and Tadaka, as soon as she heard some noises, somebody is walking, steps, she immediately came running there. She saw this sage with two young boys there. She wanted to attack on them. She spread her Maya. She started throwing the heavy dust wind there, which covered the whole atmosphere, whole sky. But Lord Ramachandra, by shooting his one arrow, he destroyed that Maya. Then she started throwing all the big stones. बड़े बड़े पत्थरों की बारिश होने लगी. Again Lord Ramachandra, with one arrow, he destroyed that Maya. And then Lord Ramachandra, Vishwamitra is telling, do not delay. Kill this demoness Tadaka quickly, because as the evening comes, their strength grows. So you should not wait any longer. Just kill this demoness Tadaka. Lord Ramachandra took one arrow, shot one arrow at Tadaka. With one arrow, he killed that demoness Tadaka. With one arrow, एक बाण से भगवान ने ताड़का का वध किया. So what does this Tadaka represent? What is the meaning of Tadaka? Tadaka represents Durasha. Tadaka represents anger. Sometimes we have these wrong expectations from others. Sometimes we show anger towards others. That represents Tadaka. And to kill that Tadaka, to destroy that Tadaka, it requires एक बाण. एक बाण से उस दुराशा को, उस क्रोध को खत्म किया जा सकता है. What is that एक बाण? What is that one arrow? एक बाण. To see Lord Ramachandra in everything. That is the one arrow with which we can destroy this durasha, this anger. Because when you know Lord Ramachandra is everywhere in everything, Siya Rama mai sab jag jana, karuh pranam jori jugpana. When I see Ram and Sita everywhere, then why to have that feeling of enmity towards anybody? Why to have that feeling of anger toward anybody? So to destroy this durasha, only one arrow is needed. Ek ban. Seeing Ram in everything. So Lord Ramachandra destroyed this Tadaka, and after Tadaka was killed, Vishwamitra became very happy. Now he got complete satisfaction and confidence. Yes, Ram is the one who will protect my yajna. And Vishwamitra became very happy. He started walking with such a joy in his heart, and Vishwamitra gave up all other designations now. Earlier, Vishwamitra, in front of his name, many designations were written. What are the designations written? It says Vishwamitra Mahamuni, Vishwamitra Mahagayani. Later on, gave up all the designations. Now it says Vishwamitra Mahanidhipai. Now it's only name written Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra walked forward. No other designations. Now I have got the Supreme Lord with me. Now I don't need any other designations. अब भगवान स्वयं मिल गए हैं तो और किसी पदवी की क्या आवश्यकता. प्रभु ब्रह्मन देवय में जाना, मोहि नीति पिता तजयु भगवाना. भगवान तो ब्राह्मणों का उद्धार करने वाले हैं, ब्राह्मणों की रक्षा करने वाले हैं. He is the protector of the Brahmanas. For me, he has even given up his palace, his father, and he has come to me walking barefoot behind me. Now I have got the Supreme Lord with me, no other designations needed. So in this world, we should focus on getting the mercy of the Lord, getting the love of the Lord, not focusing on these different designations. And sometimes even in spiritual life also, people get stuck up with so much designations. Right? They want to have this nice designation written in front of their name. His grace, His holiness, Param Pujya, Maha Swamiji 1008, 10,008, all that different designations. If their program invitation is sent out in front of the name, all these nice designations are not written. Param Pujya, His grace, this and that, they become upset. Why all that is not written? But here Vishwamitra is telling, now I have got the Supreme Lord, no other designation. All these designations are useless. These are binding in this world actually. So Vishwamitra walked now with joy in the front, and behind Vishwamitraji is walking Ramaji. Behind Ramji is walking Lakshmanaji. They came to the ashram of Vishwamitra, Siddha ashram. And as they arrived in the ashram, all the sages, all the disciples of Vishwamitra, they welcomed them, they washed their feet, they gave them nice roots and fruit to eat. So they rested on that night, and Lord Ramachandra told Vishwamitraji, please now prepare for your yajna. We will protect your yajna, we will stand as guard here, and you continue your yajna. So next morning Vishwamitra started that yajna. That yajna is going to be happening for 7 days. So yajna is going inside the ashram. Lord Ram and Lakshmanji, they are standing outside. Inside his yajna is going on, and the yajna Purush himself is standing outside protecting the yajna. Hey, Lord Ramachandra, he is himself yajna Purusha. He is standing outside to protect the yajna of Vishwamitra. 6 days passed by, nothing happened. No obstacle came, no attack happened. On the 7th day, when the final day of yajna, when the yajna is going to be completed, at that time in the sky they started seeing all these demons coming. Subahu and Marich with all their associates, they were approaching the yajna to destroy that yajna. And as they came closer to the ashram, Lord Ramachandra immediately became alert. With one arrow he killed Subahu, and with another arrow he sent Marich 100 yojan away. लॉर्ड भगवान राम ने एक बाण मारकर सुबाहु का वध किया और एक बिन फन का बाण मारकर मारीच को 100 योजन दूर समुद्र के अंदर फेंक दिया. And Lakshman also destroyed all the other demons, asuras who had come with them. So all the demons were destroyed and the yajna was completed. Now why Lord Ramachandra did not kill Marich? Why he just threw him away 100 yojan? Because Lord Ramachandra, he knew this Marich, he will be helpful in other Leela. Lord Ramachandra, he is a script writer. He is the director and he is the best actor performing in his own Leela. So Lord Ramachandra is thinking, ये Marich का अभी role है, ये अभी दूसरी लीला में सहायक बनेगा. So he did not kill Marich but threw him away. But he is instructing very important lesson also. See, Subahu and Marich, they represents the bad qualities, the anarthas inside our heart. And when we come to the path of bhakti, when we come to the path of spirituality, we should work on removing these anarthas from our heart. We don't want to put these anarthas to rest. We just want to destroy them, right? We want to completely eliminate them. But if we don't work on removing these anarthas from our heart, later on again that anartha may pop up like a big demon, big enemy, and steal away our bhakti. Like Marichi came again in disguise and he stole away Sita Devi, who is bhakti. So same way these anarthas, if not completely destroyed, they can again pop up again in our life and steal away our bhakti. They can distract us from the path of bhakti. So to teach us that lesson, Lord Ramachandra is showing by this example. When we pray to the Lord, we should pray, my Lord, you know my heart. You know what are the wrong desires, wrong anarthas. These anarthas are there in my heart. Please help me to get rid of these anarthas. Nanya spraha raghupate hriday asmidiye. Satyam vadami cha bhavan akhil antaratma. Bhaktim priyachha raghupungava nirbharam me. Kam adi dosharahitam kuru manasam cha. हे रघुनाथ जी, मैं सत्य कहता हूं, आप तो सबके अंतरात्मा हैं. You are inside everybody's heart. In my heart, if you see all different desires, please remove all these desires. Please give me only your bhakti. Please make my heart free from all these काम and other faults. काम adi dosha rahitam kuru manasam cha. That's how we should pray to the Lord. So Lord Ramachandra protected the yajna of Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is very happy. He gave many different weapons, different skills to Ram and Lakshmana. And as they are staying there in the ashram, there came a message from Janakpuri. Janak Maharaj sent message, sent invitation to Vishwamitra ji that I am doing a Dhanur Yajna. In Janakpuri there is a Dhanur Yajna going on. Please, you along with all other sages, you please arrive in our Janakpuri to be part of that Yajna. So Vishwamitra ji got that invitation. Now the invitation came for Vishwamitra, not for Ram, not for Lakshman. But Vishwamitra told Ram and Lakshman that you also please accompany me. You also accompany to Janakpuri. Vishwamitra ji is thinking what? What is bhav of Vishwamitra? He is thinking Ram ji, he helped me to fulfill my yajna, to complete my yajna. And Janak Maharaj is also trying to complete his yajna. So many times he has tried to do his Dhanur yajna. And how his yajna will be completed? When somebody can lift that Dhanur, then his yajna will be complete. So Ramji helped me to complete my yajna. Now you please come and help Janak Maharaj to complete his yajna also. So that is the bhav of Vishwamitra. He told, you also please come. But what is Vishwamitra telling Ramji? In Janakpuri, there is one very wonderful bow. एक बड़ा अच्छा कठोर धनुष है, शिव धनुष. You also please come with me and you see that dhanush. You will be very happy to see that dhanush, that bow. So Ram and Lakshman, they agreed to come with Vishwamitra to Janakpuri. Now again, a long travel. They are going all the way from Buxar, Bihar to Mithila, Janakpuri, which is now in Nepal. So many days will take for them to reach there, and on the way, every evening, every night, they will stay at the shore of a river. And Vishwamitra tells many wonderful pastimes. बहुत सारे उनको पौराणिक इतिहास कथाएं बताते हैं. How Ganga descended down. Ramji asked, can you please tell me how Ganga descended down? As if Lord Ramachandra doesn't know. He is the source of that Ganga. उनके चरणों से वो गंगा निकली हैं. It came out from his own feet. But Ramji is asking, please tell me how Ganga descended down to earth. And Vishwamitra narrate all these histories. And on the way, as they were about to arrive in Janakpuri, on the outskirts of Janakpuri, they saw one hermitage. It was completely empty. There was nobody residing there. No birds, no sages, no animals there. And Lord Ramachandra inquired from Vishwamitra, whose hermitage is this? Kiska ashram hai? And that's where we come to Ahilya Uddhar Prasanga. How Ramaji delivered Ahilya. So we discuss that in the next session. And we'll try to reach Janakpuri. How Lord Ramachandra lifted that Shiv Dhanush. How he broke it into two pieces. And how Sita Ram's wedding took place. So these pastime we'll discuss in the next session. And what are the lessons from each and every pastime we can learn actually. So again, one very important point to keep in mind when we hear these pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, these are to bring samskaras in our life. These are to help us become human. Yes, we have got this human form. देखने में तो हम मनुष्य लग रहे हैं. But are we really acting at the level of human beings? तो राम कथा हमें मनुष्य बनाने के लिए है. श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. Thank you very much. I think it's 7 o'clock. Curtain are going to open and Arati will be starting. If anybody has any question, you can ask your question later on personally to me if you have any question. So let's please attend the Arati, and after Arati we'll be singing Damodar Ashtam and offering the lamp to Lord Damodar. It's a very wonderful Kartik month going on, and so auspicious to offer a lamp to Lord Damodar, the baby Krishna, bound by the rope of Mother Yashoda to the grinding mortar. Thank you. Hare Krishna.